Mr. Andrews, forgive me. I did the sum in my head. And with the number of lifeboats times the capacity you mentioned, forgive me, but it seems that there are not enough for everyone aboard.
About half, actually.
Titanic carried 20 lifeboats, but they only managed to launch 18 in an hour and a half. Now, we've all been told that if the ship carried more boats, more lives could have been saved. But would that really have made a difference? Could the crew have launched more boats in the time they had? I've wondered about this for a long time, and we never tested it until now.
So what we did was we took a replica lifeboat left over from the movie with a set of davits mounted atop a platform that was tall enough to represent the height of the promenade deck. Boat deck being up on top, got a crew to man and lower the lifeboat so that we could see how long it took. We figured that it would take about 2 minutes to roll the canvas back on these lifeboats.
Roll back that cover! Roll back that cover!
So we preset our clock to 2 minutes.
Okay, so the ropes are in, and you guys know what to do, right, to get them flaked out on the deck? You're going to do that sort of there and there, so we need to stay out of those?
No, we can put it right there.
Well, put it where you would have done it if you were really on the ship.
Okay.
And if we're in your way, then move us out of the way, because we're curious passengers, and you're having to yell at us to get out of the way. Politely, of course, because we're also, you know, rich passengers in the first class of area of Titanic. So when we say go, ready the boat, and then tell us when it's ready. Okay?
Yeah. Bring lines on deck.
Clock is running.
Remove cradle. Swing boat out.
Yeah, you can see how geared down it is on that lead screw. It takes a lot of cranks to get that davit to move just a few feet.
Keel cleared. Keep cranking.
The other thing you notice was the voice commands by the officer coordinating the two sides. And in the beginning, with that steam going off, they're going to have trouble hearing.
Somebody would have to yell back and forth, or somebody just have to see the other guys working and just imitate, because they couldn't hear anything.
Okay, good. Lower boat to embarkation deck.
So at what point do they start loading it?
So they're going to lower it down to the edge of the boat deck.
Because then you just step into it.
Right, you want to step into it. You do not want them stepping over if you can avoid it.
Hold it. Secure the boat.
Okay. Stop the clock. 8 minutes and 30 seconds.
8 minutes and 30 seconds. Now, we're going to have to just estimate the loading time.
The key here is that you don't know how much time you have. You've never practiced this.
But just as a baseline, let's get some values for how long it takes to do each part of the operation.
Exactly.
So I think you're probably looking at a time that varied. Initially, it was probably slower as people were reticent, and then later, as they got more desperate, it probably sped up. Let's say 10 minutes.
Okay.
Let's say 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, that puts us up to 18 and a half minutes. Now let's see how long it takes us to lower one deck level.
And clock running.
Ready. Okay, lower.
You're right. It jerks its way down, and look at the
You can see how jerky it is even now, not loaded. It'd be like 3 times that when it was fully loaded. That'd make it a lot harder to lower.
Okay, hold it.
Okay, stopping the clock.
So what was that?
Just shy of 2 minutes.
Just shy of 2 minutes. Okay, so that's 2 minutes to go 10 feet. It's another 50 feet to the water. So we have to add another 10 minutes. So that's 30 minutes, 30 seconds.
And they were working simultaneously.
They were loading passengers in while they were cranking out the next boat.
Right.
Then our times can telescope somewhat. When you start multiplying it out, it should have taken more like 2 hours. From the time the lifeboats were ordered, launched, you had about an hour and a half.
However they managed it, they had just enough time to get those boats away.
Not quite enough time.
Yeah, not quite.
The truth is, the last 2 boats, the last 2 collapsibles were washed off the ship. They did not have time. It's actually pretty amazing that they managed to launch as many lifeboats as they did. And what made it even more challenging was in the final stages of Titanic sinking, the lifeboats were being launched right on top of each other. To avoid being crushed, men were cutting the ropes connected to the davits with pocket knives. I mean, I wanted to see for myself how difficult that was. Let's raise up one end of the boat in contact.
About 1 inch out of the cradle, and then they want to cut one off the ropes.
Okay.
No, I was thinking more like a foot. Let's do an action shot. Let's raise it up a foot, guys. All right, so who's going to do the honors?
What, somebody
do
has
it.
to go into the boat?
I'll do it.
Whatever happens, Jim, we'll get it on film.
Exactly. Let's go.
Clock running.
All right. Jeez. Is this an actual knife?
It should have been a really sharp knife.
And it's sharp.
We do know this type of knife was used.
All right, I'm going to go with your expertise. I think I probably would cut faster if my life depended on it. It's promising.
We're getting close.
Oh, jeez. You imagine like 50 people screaming,
Yeah.
water
Well,
coming up?
There's a boat coming down in your head. Don't forget.
Yeah, that too. That's gonna get dramatic here in a second.
You can hear it.
All right, that's promising. Beauty. Now we're free.
Yeah.
So how long did that take?
140.
I would say if
Yeah.
my life depended on it, I could
Yeah.
probably shave about 30 seconds off that. And you go for a ride. I think if you had more lifeboats on that ship, they would have just gotten in the way, and it might have cost hundreds of lives.